Let's start here. Hi, I'm Candace, and welcome to Fitness and Harmonies. This is Pilates with a little bit of yoga for progression and stability. I like those words, progression and stability. So if you know me, and some of you really know me well, I don't take a step forward until I'm sure, usually, until I'm sure of where I am now. I proceed super slowly in everything that I do. So we're going to progress today to things like pull-ups and push-ups and one-arm planks. Sure we are. And headstands. But we're going to do it slowly. So let's start here. Sit up tall. Pull the shoulders onto the back. Scoop. Let's practice that Pilates scoop for a second. So for a moment, imagine you're digging into your favorite ice cream. And you know how it is. It resists you. So when you do this with your hand, if you are, I like doing it because I like thinking about scooping. Pull the abdominals from the bottom inward and upward. Do that a few times. Squeeze, lift, curl. The lower abdominals up into the rib cage. Now squeeze and hold. Don't let the belly fall back down. Now take two imaginary, if you've ever had a back brace, and I think that you should, there's always a time when you need some extra support. Take that back brace, there's one side of it wraps around, and then the other is Velcro. Really pull that one around and squeeze your abdominals in a little bit more. Let's do that again, so let everything go. Sit up tall, roll the shoulders back, practice the scoop, squeeze from the bottom up, squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift, squeeze, lift, and hold. Now, without using your arms, I want you to do this with your mind. Take one side of your abdominal muscles and wrap them around to the other side, pull in. Then this is the one that really counts. Take the other side, wrap it around, make those little Velcro hooks, hold in, and pull them both in now. All right, here's the hard part. Inhale. Go out through your mouth, exhale. Do that 3 or 4 more times without disturbing that Velcro wrap. Joseph Pilates really believed that breathing was the most important thing. Well, I don't think he's alone in that theory. But that many of our maladies, many of the things, the diseases that we have to do with not having proper nutrition. That means oxygen and water and minerals and all those other things. Go into all the tissues of the body and have those move through the body. So if you're healing today, I'm healing. I want to make sure I'm taking in as many of those nutrients as I can. So now, hold the bottom of the waist, that rim of the pelvis in, and inhale, expand the ribs out. Exhale, scoop from the bottom, squeeze the bottom of the waist, the middle of the ribs, and then let the chest collapse. Now we'll move the arms in sync and in harmony. Inhale, stretch up. Remember, ribs go out, exhale, scoop from the bottom up. So the bottom of the waist, the middle of the waist, and then push into the lungs. Inhale, scoop up. Exhale, scoop up. So remember that scooping action we just practiced. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, scoop up. Exhale, scoop up. We're talking about progression and stability today. This time, leave those arms overhead and hold. Hold there. I want to show you something while you do this. This is what you're doing. This is the statue that fell and hit me. So this is what you're doing. We're honoring those things that give us challenge. And leave those hands there, and I'll practice leaning side to side. Now, really what you're doing is not leaning and falling and collapsing, or even, I don't even care about whether you're moving. What I care about is that as you're breathing out, you're doing that scoop the belly in. Scoop the belly in. So you need to put your arms back down. Maybe your arms are tired of doing that. That's okay. Your arms are just creating a little bit more progression. That's the word for today, progression. Sometimes I feel like Sesame Street here. Like I always have a word for the day or a theme. I want you to learn this certain thing. Progress from where you are to where you want to go. 2 more times. Remember, we're practicing the Pilates scoop. That breathing is the most important thing. Then come up. Let's take the arms out and then practice spinning the shoulders forward and back. Spin forward and back. And I said the shoulders. I'm sure you're looking at the hands. Going, look, those hands are doing that. Practice the Pilates Scoop. Inhale to the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Spin the arms backward and hold. And then pull the elbows in and behind you and hold. Practice this. Pull the shoulders up. Loop the head of the arms and the shoulders up, back, and down and hold. Do that again. Pull the shoulders up. Loop the head of the arm bones and the shoulders back and down. Squeeze and hold. And then release. Give yourself a big hug. Inhale. As you exhale, tip your ear to your shoulder. Inhale your head back up. Exhale your head to the other shoulder. Inhale back up. Now swirl the whole body around. Exhale. Don't forget the little extension at the end. Go the other way. Inhale. Exhale. Don't forget the little extension of the spine at the end. One more time. Exhale. And then we'll roll all the way down to the back. Hi, I'm glad you're here today. Some of us joined a minute late. We're going to come down to the back. If you have a band or a bowl, I'm going to try to integrate some of those in a moment. But first, a practice of awareness. Come down to the back, put the hands on the belly. Inhale, exhale. The same practice we've been doing since the very beginning, and that is, when you exhale, practice tightening the belt, that back brace around the waist. When you inhale, practice expanding the ribs. Now slowly begin to march one knee in and then the other, without disturbing the calm. In exercise, and especially in things like Pilates, when compared maybe to yoga, for example, we tend to blow past the principle and go right to the progression, forgetting the precept. Ooh, there's a word. Precept means, the idea before the thing you're doing. Like, what was your plan before you started this mess? This mess. So the precept here is stability before the progression. So work on the stability. So you really are doing something akin to walking. So if your abs can stabilize the thoracolumbar, pelvic, means, all the regions of your spine. And so many of the muscles of your back and your abs are dedicated simply to stabilizing the spine. Now levitate both knees and hold and go the other way. So dip the toe in the pool. The precept here, or the beginning thought, is what was she thinking? Is stabilize first, then progress slowly as your body gives you the physical cue. Well, the physical cue would be here. If you can march these legs without your low back lifting and going back down on the floor, if there's not that little wobble in the top rim of your pelvis, then you're probably ready for the next progression, which is going to be plank. I'll tell you that in case you want to, tune out here and stay where it's safe. 3, 2, don't forget that breath, and 1. Levitate both knees and hold. We'll do one more thing with the arms. Bring the arms down by the sides with the palms face up. Remember, that spins the shoulders open. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale the arms back down. I'm going to say leave those palms facing, the top of your head. Inhale up. Exhale, scoop the belly. Inhale up. Scoop the belly. Work harder and harder. Find what you're doing interesting. So in a way, tune me out and tune in to your own practice. This time, leave the arms about halfway, in the middle of your thighs, not all the way down, just sort of reaching towards your feet, I guess. Try curling your chin to your chest and hold. Just practice about 4. Inhale, exhale. Really push the plunger of the abdomen down. So we're going to kind of like cough out anything you've been holding, maybe at the base of the lungs, so the diaphragm is churning out the debris in the waist. One more time. Come down and hug the knees in. Rock side to side. Give yourself a second to breathe in, to breathe out. Kind of go back to your normal, natural, organic, natural, flowing breath. So what deep breathing does, keep going. What deep breathing does is it allows you to clear out the rubbish. Slowly roll onto one side, probably face me. Make sure that your upper body, that's your shoulder up here, make sure it's relatively comfortable. Let's bring the knees out into like a clamshell and do that clamshell. So lift one knee up and down. Press into the floor with this top hand and roll a little bit towards that floor. Push with that hand. Now I have my head a little bit up. Again, you have to figure out what's comfortable. I have my microphone right here, so I have to be careful. Find what's comfortable. It may be a little bit more comfortable to go a little bit more towards the floor or a little bit away from the floor. Now concentrate on the pivot point of the heel. Push the heels into each other and gain that idea of one line. From the heels up through the spine, up through the head, there's one median, that means middle. There's one line, which your whole body is rhythmically organized around. 2, Pilates Scoop, and 1. Take this top leg now, reach it forward, let it fall. Now do take your upper body and open up. So turn the chest to the sky and take a good twisty stretch. Inhale deeply now. So there's essentially 2 breathing patterns that I do in our Pilates session. One is more the yogic breath. It's a deep, expansive, make room for you. Make room for all of those things that you're holding on to. The other one is a vigorous, almost coughing, exhale. We use the power of that exhale, to do something that requires a lot of strength and a lot of neural connectivity, meaning that your muscles and your brain have to coordinate some movement pattern. Slowly make your way over to your other side for you. You can roll, but if you choose, you can flip, so you can stay facing me. But don't do both. Don't roll and flip. Here we go. Get the shoulder comfortable. Bring the knees a bit forward. Lock the heels together and start this clamshell. Roll a little bit towards the floor so chest and this top hand is pressing down. All right, so now we're doing Pilates breathing. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, scoop the belly. There's a rhythm to our bodies. Some of it we're aware of, like our breath, like our sleep patterns, we're pretty aware. Hopefully you're aware when you're asleep or when you're not asleep. I'm not always so sure. But a lot of the things go on under the surface. In fact, most of what's going on in our bodies is going on by itself, autonomically. There we go. There's a word. 3, you're scooping the belly, right? Your Pilates exhaling, right? And then take this top leg forward, drape it down, and then twist the chest open. And wherever your arms feel like they should be doing, organize your bones. It's the purpose of the muscles to move and stabilize the bones under the will of the mind, obviously, but not always. Sometimes muscles get sort of, let's call it injured, and they start acting on their own. It's called reflexes. They act kind of on their own. They have their own little brain system. And sometimes that works counter to what you wish, the big brain wishes would be going on. So organize your bones and account for that, those little injuries. Now the yoga breath. Inhale slowly through the nose. Exhale slowly. Wherever that wants to come out is the right answer, but it is slow, and I use the word organic. So continuously become more curious. We're going to talk about progression again in a moment. And exhale. All right, I invite you to move into child's pose. I'm going to take my knees wide because I know we're not going to get the luxury of a lot of child's poses today. I'm going to take the knees wide. Remember, the purpose of yoga and Pilates is to uniformly develop the mind and body and the humors, if I can use like a 1930s term, right? The breath, or in ancient Latin, the spiritus, the life within us, the breath. So the purpose of child's pose within that bigger picture is to relax into that space that we're creating by the exercises which create an adaptive response. Let's try. Coming up into hands and knees. First, once you get there, turn one hand the wrong way. Lean a little bit back and discover that you've been using these forearm muscles a lot. Then try the other arm. Flip the hand. Lean a little bit back and discover. Let's tuck the toes under now. Sit back up onto the heels for a moment. We haven't done a lot with the lower body, so I want to give my toes and my feet a little love. So here's a really good example of progression. Progression 1 is I'm not really sitting back at all. I'm kind of up here. Progression 2 is maybe I can sit on my heels. There's many, many reasons you might not. I'm not going to go through all those reasons. Just know your body says no. It means no. No means no. Progression, I'll call it 3, although there's no such thing, is leaning a little bit further back, gluing your knee bones to the floor, and letting your hips really sink into the heels. Let's come back to hands and knees. Now, the reason I don't normally talk about progressions or levels is because people tend to make too much of them. So let's call this one progression 1. So today I'm going to make too much of progressions. Progression 2 might be walk your knees 5 inches back, but keep the head and the chest and the shoulders over the hands, over the wrists. So when your hips went back, or your knees went back, your hips stayed forward. Let me say that right. So let's call that progression 2. Progression 3, I don't know how many I'm going to have, is come down to the forearms. Let's just hold there. Usually by the time we get to progression 3, most bodies say, that's enough. You know, it's kind of like, third gear. It's enough. We don't really need more gears than that. But every so often, if you've been practicing diligently, maybe you want to progress to tucking the toes under and lifting the knees off the floor. All right, this is probably the top. The last progression. It's not. I'm going to give you one more, but after we go through this again. Come down to the belly. Give me a Superman, so both arms reach, both legs reach. Bow the body backward. We're doing Pilates breathing here. But anytime you need to go back to your normal everyday breathing, always give yourself permission. It's like you're on an island, and that's your island. I want you to go back to that island where things are safe. And only row out when you feel like the tide and the water and the boat, all those things are safe. Come back down, slide the hands next to the ribs. Bring the knees closer together. Push back through child's pose. So there was like a little push up there. Did you see that? Come back up to hands and knees. So here we go. Level 1. Inhale, exhale, scoop the belly. Level 2, walk the knees a little bit back. Inhale, exhale, scoop the belly. Keep the chest and the head forward. So guard against not pushing back. Level 3, I'm going to say come down to the forearms, pressing into the forearms, not the elbows, keeping the head straight, don't really look at me, but keeping the shoulder blades wide. And then I'm going to say, if you want, turn the toes, lift the knees. Pilates breathing, keep scooping, keep scooping. You don't have to be here to be here. 2 more breaths. Exhale, scoop the belly. Keep that blood breath circulating. The humors, let's come all the way down. Give me a Superman, so stretch the arms, stretch the legs go a little bit apart. I'm going to have to watch Superman. I'm not sure if he's, but for our purposes, the legs are a little bit apart. Probably not. 3 breaths, scooping the belly up and off the floor. See if you can feel the skin and the pressure. 2. Good work today, guys. And 1. Slide the hands back. Push back through child's pose. There's your push-up. Take 2 breaths. And we'll come back up. So we're going to do this one more time. Here we go. Scoop the belly without moving the spine, but do elongate the spine. Unclench the neck and the shoulders. And then walk the knees, 5 inches back, keeping the chest forward, keeping your body weight evenly distributed on the hand, not the heel of the hand. Brace the belly, walk down to the forearms. So let's say you're going through all of these with me. The transition between them is also a good work. Maybe lift off, maybe stay on the knees. The transition between is also good work. So it's almost good to try and fail so that you're practicing the progression from one to the other. Take one hand to the center. This works whether you're on your knees or whether you're on your hands. Then roll to the sides of the bottom leg, whatever the thing is, and see if you can come to a side plank. So that arm is right up under the shoulder. Try practicing this deep. Pilates scoop here. So always keep your mind on the first guiding principle of Pilates. 2. Come down. Try the other side. So get that arm nice and under sort of your chest. Roll to the sides of your feet or knees or whatever. 3 deep Pilates scooping actions. So you can be in seated pose. Don't think you have to go to the very, very top of the mountain to get a good view. Where did she come up with these? I don't know. 1 more. Come back to your plank, whatever your plank is. So that's the progression. Drop down to the knees. Walk up onto the hands. Let's say you weren't already there. Walk those hands back a little bit and down towards your feet, just a little bit more than you think you should. Then bend your elbows. They're going out at about a 45-degree angle and hover. You may need to kind of bump your hips up here so that you can hold this a little bit better, but keep your body weight forward. Not back here, but forward. 3 breaths here. I know you're all working very, very hard. And then push back to child's pose. All right, let's take a second to recover. Reawaken the purpose of what you're doing. Breathe in, breathe out. Welcome yourself to your practice. Gradually and progressively, link into the rhythm. Imagine that your body has this rhythm going. The heart and the lungs and the liver and the spleen and all those things. And the mind. And that you're now linking into that. Like you're tuning in and turning up the volume so you can see and feel and hear the beat. Three more slow breaths. Let's come back up. If you have the yoga ball, what's this called? Pilates ball. If you have that, grab it. If you don't worry about it. If you have a yoga block, you could use that too. If you don't have that, you could use a pillow. Don't use a small child or a dog or anything like that, but put that between the knees. Something that won't get hurt. And I say, actually bring the ball so it's almost protruding a little bit lower than the knees. So you're sort of on the ball instead of your knees in a way. Then try making your way into a downward dog. So fingers wide, hips lifted, stretch. Remember, the shoulder blades are rolled open. The shoulder blades are pulled back and down the back. So there's a big wide open space between the shoulder blades. Like you're wrapping the edges of your shoulder blades around your rib cage. Remember that rib cage? When you inhale, it goes out. When you exhale, you scoop the belly like a pumping action. So it's mostly Pilates breath here. Look a little forward. Try bending your knees and see if you can tap the ball to the floor and lift it back up. Give it a couple tentative practice taps. You notice you didn't need the ball for this, but adds a little bit of intelligence to the inner thighs. Now the inner thighs are really closely linked to the abdominal muscles. Makes sense, right? Your legs, think about when you're standing on ice, right? If your legs start going in opposite directions, it would be really bad for your back. So your abs really hold on to your inner thighs more than anything to make sure those legs stay under you and don't go in other places. My dog tripped me yesterday. That was another thing. She tripped me. She and I both went down 2 more times. These things happen. Come down. We'll take the ball out. We're going to flip over to a seated pose. All right. I'm just going to give you a couple of options. These don't make them harder in any way. We're going to put the ball behind the back. This only works for the ball. It doesn't work for the block. By the way, any ball works. And then if you have a band, let's take that in the hands. So we're going to take that in the hands. Ball is scooped under the low back. If you don't have the ball, no ball is necessary here. Roll back, pull. So reach forward, roll back, and pull. So keep the shoulders down. That's all that's important here. So the band is about chest high, maybe a little bit lower than chest high. Candace, you don't know. Don't make assumptions. I don't know where that is. Squeeze the lower belly in. Are we moving the spine? Maybe a little. Mostly we're just rocking at the hip flexor there. Now do purposely round. If you have the ball, push, and I want you to squeeze and pop the ball when you go back and down. So take the top end of the pelvis and push in before you come back up. So when you come back, push in and come back up. We're working a little bit on that upper back and the triceps. I almost said the triceratops. Some of us, we have a little bit extra back there. So I don't know if triceps is quite a big enough word. 3, 2. Come halfway and hold. I'm going to face you so you can see me a little bit better. Come halfway and hold. Try extending one arm out. This works without the band. Squeeze and practice the Pilates scoop. Exhale, pull the belly in. Exhale, pull the belly in. Keep the shoulders down. A lot of things going on today, I know. I'm throwing a lot of things at you. Remember, we're progressing, which means only do what feels right for you. So read your body's cues. A lot of us by now are deltoids are getting super tired. They're probably not a problem until they are. Until you start like scrunching. Find yourself scrunching, it's a problem. Stop doing this. 3, 2, and 1. Let's put the band down. We'll take the ball out. We're going to put the ball down on the floor. Again, this is going to work with or without the ball. Roll down to the back. Put one foot on the ball. So if you don't have a ball, use an imaginary. I feel like I am teaching a kindergarten class. We're going to use an imaginary ball today. And then roll out and roll the foot in. So you're kind of like you're rolling your foot. Put your hands on your belly like we did in the beginning. Practice the Pilates breath and the Pilates scoop. Here we go. It's a good thing we only have 4 limbs, right? Can you imagine if you had more? I would be like saying, well, take your second pair of arms and top your head. Like, I'm giving you so many things. I almost feel guilty about it. Now, take your heel in towards your glute and pulse it 3, 2, 1, and then out. So it's in, 2, 3. I know it's going to be hard. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale. Are you pushing down? I don't know. Probably not. You can. What is the point here? The point, well, one is coordination, obviously. But another part of this is that we're practicing stabilizing the spine when everything else has gone akimbo. Akimbo, look it up. It means when other things are going like in many directions and seem to be chaotic. 2 more times. Good. Let's go over to the other foot. You get extra points if you use your feet to do this. So just slide in and out. I was on one of these stationary bicycles in the gym the other day, and it had an option on there to play a game. And so I can play a game, and I expected like tic-tac-toe to come up, something I could understand the rules to. Oh no. You were like driving and trying to collect coins and figure stuff out. This was beyond my ability. Here we go. Pulse in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Pulse. Exhale. Exhale. Inhale. Slide out. Remember that the exhale is sort of like a cough, cough, cough. We're purifying the lungs. This is a really great thing. Even if you don't do any of the movements, it's just a really good thing to get air and oxygen back into the brain. 3 more times. Exhale, 2, 3, inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, inhale. You look fabulous. Exhale, 2, 3, and release. Good. Let's get rid of the ball for a moment. Bring the arms down next to the sides of the hips. Let's lift up into bridge pose. So lift the hips up, 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 up. And then we'll do that same marching action, remember? So the progression, remember this, knee to chest, knee to chest, knee to chest, left, right. We did this in the beginning, and our hips were on the floor. And I don't want to say it was easy, but it was definitely easier than this. Progressions aren't necessarily important. It really doesn't matter. You may never do a pull-up. It's just, unless it's your job or something, there's no reason that you should have to, or you find yourself hanging off of something. Maybe we should practice it. I don't know. I don't find myself, the way this week is going, maybe I should practice. I might find myself hanging off of something. So progressing isn't important. What's important is the effort in sustaining, maintaining, control of the body. Not just the voluntary parts, but that helps with what's called the involuntary parts of the body. 3, 2, your choice. One leg up and hold. The hips, they can stay up. They can be balancing on the ball. I'm going to give you progressions. That's not easy, by the way. If you just slid the ball under your pelvis there, that's still not easy. Or put the hips down. Take this leg, lift, extend the knee, twist it open, take the leg out and down and back up. Out and down. So we're out at a diagonal. Now take your other hand to your opposite hip just to remind yourself that doesn't roll. Now I'm on the ball. If I weren't on the ball, that would not be a problem because the whole effort here is leaving my hips up where they are. So do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go over to the other leg. So knee up, hold. Ball, no ball, block, hips down, your choice. Extend the leg up, twist open, drop the leg down and out, and back up. You may have to hold on to these hips and keep them where they are. Remember, safety first. What we're trying to do is progress safely, and the stability comes from linking into the rhythm of the body's natural rhythms, the body's natural abilities and propensities, what your body naturally would do. All right, natural matters. 3, squeeze the abs in, work with what you've got. There's another way to say that. 2, and 1. Let's take the ball out, take the blocks out, bring the hips down, stretch both legs up. Press the arms into the floor. All we're going to do is point and flex at the feet. All right, if you feel relatively comfortable, drop your chin down, close your eyes. I want you to imagine that your feet are pumping beautiful, life-giving, sparkling, enriched energy down your legs and restoring your pelvis and your back. So imagine that you're shopping. I don't know whether you go to the store or you're online or wherever you're shopping. And you're looking for like a magic elixir, something that's going to make you feel better. Let's say you have a headache, I don't know. Whatever the feeling is. I want you to drink that elixir, that thing. The label says it's going to cure the thing that's hurting you. And move it from your feet. I'm not sure why it's coming in your feet, but there it is. And it's going up your legs towards the pelvis. Take 3 of those deep drinking breaths. And then open your eyes. Drop one leg down so it's hovering at the floor. Take this top leg in your mind. Use your muscles to will it closer to your head. Maybe it's already there, right? There's a progression for you, right? You're limited by your flexibility. Pulse these scissor legs in their direction 3 times. So it's like out, 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 then switch. Out, out. You know what I mean by out, right? They're going away from each other. 2, 3. Inhale. Blow out. Inhale. Blow out. Inhale. All right, as you're doing this, maintain control. So you can think of this as the grand finale of progression and control and stability. If that's not working, bend the knees. Shorter levers are easier to control. That's why I can do this because I'm super short. Or I can leave one foot on the floor and just do one at a time. Two more. And hug the knees in. Nice work, guys. So proud of you today. This was no small feat today. Drop the knees and hips to one side. Maybe use your hand to press down. We worked progressively. So I want you to not just welcome yourself here, but congratulate yourself. Like, even if you get nothing else done today, that's okay. You're enough. You're enough. Even if you didn't do this, you're enough. Take 3 slow, I'm going to call them yoga breaths. Exhale. And then switch to the other side. For these last 2 breaths, I want you to focus on draining the upper back neck muscle there. Drain it of any tension. Then begin to move into Shavasana. So let the legs and the arms kind of stretch out and roll open. Soften the chin down towards the neck. Relax the skin around the cheeks. Close your eyes. And relax into stillness. Take a deep breath in, but don't push it. Just let it go in wherever it can go and let it go. Try taking another breath, but don't push. Don't create pressure. Take another breath, but this time, move the breath through the body. Do that again. Imagine your breath can move through the body, as if you could pass through the wall. Now pause right where you are and admire all that you've done. All of your effort. Make your way gently now onto your side. Blink your eyes open, closed. And then open your eyes and push up off the floor. Come all the way back up. Let's take another breath here. So when you come back up to seated, inhale and lift your arms up. Stretch up, reach right, left, and exhale, come back and into center. Thank you, everybody. Great work today.